Let's talk about that feeling. That quiet, unsettling feeling in your gut that something is just off. It's not loud. It's not an accusation. It's a whisper you can't quite shake. You see a subtle shift in her eyes, a slight hesitation in her voice, a new, almost frantic attachment to her phone. It's the small things, the inconsistencies that start to pile up. So you decide to bring it up. Gently, probably. You're not looking for a fight. You're just looking for clarity. For the reassurance you need to silence that nagging voice in your head. And in a heartbeat, the tables are turned. The moment the words leave your mouth, her defensiveness flares. Suddenly, your quiet concern is twisted into an accusation. Your intuition is labeled paranoia. Your need for honesty is called insecurity. And just like that, you're the one on trial. All you wanted was connection. But what you got wasn't reassurance. Let me be perfectly clear about that. It was strategy. And as a woman, I'm here to tell you that when the stakes are this high, there is a playbook. Especially when a woman is cheating with someone you know. Someone in your circle. Your friend, your colleague, maybe even a family member. In that situation, she doesn't confess. She can't. The fallout would be catastrophic. Instead, she covers her tracks. She builds a fortress of words, carefully chosen phrases designed for one purpose, and one purpose only: to silence your instincts, to make you question your own reality. And here is the absolute danger. If you miss these signals, if you fall for the performance, you're not just losing her. You are being actively replaced by someone you trusted, someone you welcomed into your life. That isn't just betrayal, it's a demolition. It's betrayal stacked on betrayal. But you do not have to walk into that blindly. You don't have to be the last one to know. Because women who cross that specific line, a line of deep, personal deception, almost always rely on the same set of phrases. It's like a script. Today, I'm breaking the code. I am going to reveal the 10 things she will say, the exact phrases that prove she's cheating with someone close to you. Before we dive in, I want you to make a promise to yourself. A promise that you will listen to these next 10 points not with your anger, but with your clarity. This isn't about winning a fight. This is about recognizing the truth. So take a deep breath. Let's begin. Number 1, you're being paranoid. This one is the classic. It's the first weapon drawn from the arsenal of deception, and it is brutally effective. Picture this: you've noticed the patterns. The late night texts that get quickly hidden when you walk into the room. The vague stories about where she's been. Her emotional distance, which feels like a tangible wall between you. You gather your courage, you approach her calmly, and you simply state what you've observed. You ask for an explanation, and she looks you dead in the eye, maybe with a hint of pity, and delivers the line, "You're being paranoid." Do not mistake this for a casual remark. This is not an attempt to ease your mind. This is psychological warfare, plain and simple. It's a tactic called gaslighting, and its purpose is to make you doubt your own sanity. She isn't addressing your concerns. She is attacking your perception of reality. The psychology here is devastatingly simple. She knows that if she can make you believe the problem isn't her behavior, but your mind, she wins. You are instantly put on the defensive, scrambling to prove that you're not crazy, that you're not controlling, that you're not this monster she's painting you to be. And while you are busy defending your own character, she slips away, her secrets intact. This phrase is especially powerful when she's cheating with someone you know. Why? Because the evidence is all around you. The extra, long glance she shares with your friend at a party. The inside joke between her and a coworker that you're not privy to. The clues are there, and she desperately needs you to stop seeing them. She needs you to believe that your own eyes are lying to you. So, what is the move? Your first instinct will be to argue, to list your evidence, to prove you're not paranoid. Don't. The moment you engage in that debate, you've already lost. Instead, when she says, "You're being paranoid," I want you to do 3 things. Pause. Take a mental step back and watch. Let her words hang in the air and turn your focus entirely onto her actions. Let her behavior tell the real story. Because a man who argues with a gaslighter ends up confused. But a man who trusts his gut and observes the patterns, he ends up prepared. He is never the fool. Number 2, he's like a brother to me. But this phrase is a masterpiece of manipulation. It's a shield, a disguise, and a preemptive strike all rolled into one. Let me be very clear. No woman feels the need to sanctify a platonic friendship with a title like brother, unless she is actively trying to hide something. It's not a term of endearment in this context. It's a boundary, a wall she is building around a connection that she does not want you to question. Think about it. Why the intensity? Why the need to elevate a friendship to the level of family? Because she knows that the brother label is designed to disarm you. It taps into your sense of respect for family, for things that are sacred and off limits. She is hiding him in plain sight, using a title that makes your suspicion feel wrong, almost taboo. The psychology behind this is what I call relational camouflage. She is trying to plant an image in your head. He is family. He is safe. To question this is to question something pure. So now, every time your gut screams that their late night phone calls are too long, that their hugs linger for a second too much, that the energy between them feels charged, you silence yourself. Because she has already framed the narrative. And in her story, you are the one with the dirty mind. This is strategic. This is calculated. And it is incredibly effective. So how do you respond? You do not attack the label. Arguing about whether he's like a brother is a pointless trap. Instead, you focus on one thing and one thing only: consistency. Does her behavior with this so-called brother match the label? Do you talk to your sister on the phone in hushed tones at 1 a.m.? Do you share intimate emotional secrets with a cousin that you keep from your partner? Observe. Watch the amount of time she invests. Listen to the tone of her voice when she speaks to him. Notice the energy she gives him, energy that, more and more, is being taken from you. A man who respects himself doesn't get bogged down in arguments about titles. He looks past the words and measures the truth in behavior. And if what you see doesn't align with what she says, you don't need to argue. You already have your answer. Number 3. You're just insecure. This one is brutal. Because it's not just a deflection. It is a direct assault on your pride, on your masculinity. When a woman you love looks at you and calls you insecure, she is not trying to comfort you. She is insulting you into silence. Let's be honest. If her actions were truly innocent, and she saw that they were causing you pain or concern, a loving partner would react with empathy. She would listen. She would reassure you. She would work with you to make you feel safe. But a woman with something to hide does the opposite. Instead of addressing your concerns, she flips the spotlight directly onto your supposed weakness. The conversation is no longer about her suspicious behavior. It is now about your character flaws. This is a tactic I call the pride attack. She knows that no man wants to wear the label of insecure. It's a deep-seated fear. And she is banking on the fact that you would rather swallow her lie than accept that label. She's counting on you to back down, to retreat, to drop the subject entirely just to prove her wrong. And that is exactly what she wants. If she's hiding a connection with someone in your circle, your insecurity becomes the perfect excuse for everything. Those late night messages. It's just your insecurity. The sudden closeness with that friend. It's just your insecurity. She doesn't need to explain her actions anymore. All she has to do is slap that word on you, and the conversation is over. It is emotional manipulation dressed up as blunt honesty. So what is the solution? First, and this is critical, do not get defensive. The more you protest, the more you say, "I'm not insecure," the more you prove her point in her twisted narrative. Instead, you must mentally separate the insult from the reality. Calmly ask yourself, is my concern rooted in clear, observable patterns of behavior that have recently changed, or is it truly baseless? If the signs are there, if the story doesn't add up, then you are not insecure. You are alert. You are paying attention. A man who values himself does not accept shame as an answer. He demands respect, clarity, and consistency. And if she refuses to give you that, and instead offers you insults about your character, then understand that the insecurity isn't yours. It's hers. Hidden behind an attack. Number 4. Don't make this weird. This phrase is a tool of social control. It's designed to shut you down in the moment, often in a public or semi-public setting. Imagine you're at a party. You walk into the kitchen and see her laughing with a man you both know. A friend. But it's a little too comfortable. His hand is on her back, and it lingers just a little too long. The energy between them feels private, exclusive. Your face might show a flicker of concern. You might raise an eyebrow. You might just stand there quietly. She catches your eye, and the smile on her face tightens. Later, or even right then and there, she'll pull you aside and whisper it. Don't make this weird. On the surface, it sounds harmless. But in reality, it's a warning shot. She is telling you, do not trust your instincts. I will define what is and is not acceptable here, not you. She wants to normalize behavior that is already pushing past the boundaries of respect. This is a strategy of boundary policing. She is actively shifting the burden of responsibility onto you. She crossed a line, but you are the one making it weird by simply noticing. You are positioned as the socially awkward one, the killjoy who is turning something innocent into something suspicious. But let's be brutally honest. If it were truly innocent, why would she need to say anything at all? People in innocent situations don't need to constantly manage the perceptions of others. The psychology here is about controlling the frame. If she can convince you that you are overreacting, she gets to continue her behavior right under your nose. She gets to have those lingering touches, those intimate laughs. And you are left feeling like you have no right to question it. So, how do you respond? You don't let the phrase silence you. But you also don't cause a scene. You simply hold your ground with quiet confidence. You don't need to argue in the heat of the moment. Instead, you can respond calmly with something like, "My expectation of respect isn't weird." Or better yet, say nothing at all and let your calm, observant silence be the answer. Later, you set your boundaries clearly and unemotionally. A man with standards doesn't apologize for expecting respect. You don't make things weird by noticing disrespect. She makes it weird by crossing the line. At the end of the day, if it feels off to you, it probably is. Trust your gut, not her deflection. Number 5. I don't know why you don't trust me. The performance. This phrase is rarely a genuine question. It is an act. It is guilt-tripping at its absolute finest. When this line is delivered, it's often accompanied by a wounded tone, maybe some wide, pleading eyes. It's designed to sound emotional, almost like a cry for understanding. Don't let the theatrics fool you. This is not a cry for help. It is the victim ploy. Instead of addressing your very real concerns, the ones based on her shady behavior, she flips the script and makes your lack of trust the central problem. The trap is brilliant. Suddenly, you are no longer focused on her unexplained late nights or her secretive texting. You are now scrambling to defend yourself. You find yourself saying things like, "Of course I trust you, but..." And you've lost. The moment you have to start defending the fact that you do trust her, you're not talking about her behavior anymore. She knows you've noticed the shifts, the changes in energy, the unexplained closeness with that man in your circle. But rather than offering transparency to earn your trust back, she leans on this emotional card. "Why don't you trust me?" It's not an answer. It's a diversion. By framing herself as the victim of your unjust suspicion, she puts you in an impossible position. If you press the issue further, you look cruel, paranoid, and unloving. Psychologically, this works because most good men want to avoid conflict. You don't want to be the bad guy. You don't want to hurt her feelings. And so, instead of holding her accountable, you do what she is counting on you to do. You back off. But here is the harsh reality you must accept. Trust is not a slogan. Trust is not proven by words or demands. Trust is the natural byproduct of consistent, transparent, and loyal actions. If she has to tell you to trust her instead of showing you why you should, something is already fundamentally broken. So what's the move? Do not accept guilt as a substitute for clarity. Stay calm. You can acknowledge the line by saying, "This isn't about a lack of trust. This is about understanding your recent behavior." Shift the focus back where it belongs, on her actions. Say less, observe more. A man who respects himself doesn't hand out trust just because someone demands it with a wounded look in their eyes. He measures trust by patterns, by transparency, by the alignment between words and actions. Trust is earned, not begged for. Number 6. We just vibe. This phrase is subtle. It's modern, it sounds casual, almost playful. And that is precisely what makes it so dangerous. We just vibe. Let's not sugarcoat this. When a woman in a committed relationship says this about another man, she is not describing a harmless friendship. She is admitting, often without realizing it herself, to an emotional affair that is already in progress. This is what I call the innocent confession. The word vibe is her way of downplaying an intimacy that is already developing. A vibe is about a shared frequency. It's about inside jokes you're not a part of. It's about a level of understanding and emotional resonance that should be reserved for you. Emotional bonds are the foundation. They form long before physical lines are ever crossed. Emotional cheating is often more devastating than physical cheating because it's about a betrayal of the heart and mind. It means she is investing her loyalty, her secrets, and her desire somewhere else, all while you're left wondering why she feels so distant. The problem isn't the word itself. It's the pattern it represents. Who is she vibing with late at night over text? Who gets her energy, her laughter, her vulnerability, the parts of her that should belong to you? Once a woman starts investing that deeply and emotionally in another man, especially one within your circle, you are no longer her priority. You have been demoted, so what do? You do not ignore this red flag just because the word sounds harmless. Step back and assess. Is she sharing more of her inner world with this person than with you? Is she excusing private texts or lingering time together under the casual blanket of, we just vibe? If so, understand that this is no small thing. A man who values himself does not compete with another man for his partner's emotional core. He recognizes when the bond has fundamentally shifted, and he chooses dignity over denial. Number 7, gets me in a way no one else does. If you ever hear these words, I need you to listen very, very carefully. This is not a phrase. This is a confession. More than that, it is often a closing statement. By the time a woman says this out loud, she has already built a deep, powerful emotional bridge to another man. And if that man is part of your world, the betrayal is profound. This isn't casual. This isn't harmless. This is her admitting that someone else has successfully auditioned for, and has been given, the role that you are supposed to have. Let's break down what gets me truly means. She is saying he understands her needs, her emotions, her inner world better than you do. That is a fatal blow to the intimacy of your relationship. Physical cheating can be an impulsive mistake. Emotional cheating of this depth is deliberate. It means she has already invested her trust, her thoughts, and her loyalty somewhere else. This is the soulmate excuse. Women often justify betrayal by framing it as a profound, undeniable connection. If she convinces herself that this other man understands her in a way you don't, she feels validated in giving him more of herself. It becomes the story she tells herself, so she doesn't have to feel like the villain. And once that narrative is built in her mind, it is nearly impossible for you to compete. Because she's not looking for facts anymore. She is chasing a feeling. So what do you do when you hear this? Do not beg. Do not fight for a place she has already given away. The worst mistake a man can make is trying to outdo the other guy, trying to prove that you get her more. That only lowers your value and makes you look desperate. Instead, you must recognize what this statement really means. She has already replaced you in her mind and in her heart. A man of dignity does not chase a woman who has emotionally left the building. He accepts the harsh truth, stands tall, and walks away with his self-respect intact. Because the moment she says another man gets her, she has already told you exactly where her loyalty lies. Number 8. It's not what it looks like. This phrase only appears in one scenario when she has been caught. It's the panic button. The reflexive, desperate attempt to stop reality from crashing down. Maybe you walked in and found them sitting too close, their conversation stopping abruptly. Maybe you saw a notification pop up on her phone with a message that was undeniably inappropriate. Maybe a friend told you they saw them somewhere they shouldn't have been. Whatever the trigger, the moment those words come out of her mouth, it's not what it looks like. Who you can be almost certain that it is exactly what it looks like. Let's be clear. Innocent people do not need this line. If there is truly nothing going on, explanations are simple, straightforward, and backed by consistent behavior. But when she scrambles for this phrase, it's because her actions have crossed a line, and she is desperately trying to rewrite reality in real time. This is reality denial. It is damage control, not honesty. The psychology here is pure survival. Her brain defaults to a tactic that buys her time. By saying, it's not what it looks like, she's not trying to convince you. She is trying to plant just enough doubt in your mind to keep you from acting immediately. Her goal isn't to clear her name. Her goal is to stall, hoping you'll second-guess your own eyes. So, how do you respond? You do not get dragged into an argument about interpretations. You don't waste your breath on a back and forth about what you saw versus what she says happened. You trust what you saw. You can calmly say, then tell me what it is, and watch her struggle to invent a plausible story on the spot. But even more powerfully, you can just look at her, let the silence hang, and let her actions, or lack of a coherent explanation, confirm the truth. A man who values himself trusts his perception over her performance. Remember, these words can be twisted, but reality cannot. If it looks like betrayal and feels like betrayal, it usually is. Number 9. Why don't you trust my friends? At first, this question sounds reasonable. It sounds like she's defending her social life, her support system. But pay close attention. This phrase is rarely about the whole group. It is almost always about one man in particular. This is a classic misdirection tactic. A human shield. By framing your concern as an attack on all of her friends, she hides the one person you're actually worried about. Instead of defending her inappropriate actions with one specific man, she shifts the conversation to defending her entire circle. The strategy is brilliant. Now, you look like the unreasonable, controlling one. If you try to question him, you are suddenly questioning everyone. You are the bad guy attacking her social life, instead of simply a partner addressing one specific relationship that doesn't sit right. If she is cheating with someone you both know, she cannot defend him individually without raising massive suspicion. So, she blends him into the crowd, making it harder for you to isolate the problem. She's counting on you to back down, because you don't want to come off as controlling or jealous. You drop it. And that's exactly what she wants. She gets to keep you quiet, while the inappropriate closeness continues, completely unchecked. So, how do you handle it? You do not take the bait. Do not argue about her entire friend group. You must narrow your focus with surgical precision. You can respond calmly. This isn't about your friends. This is about the time you spend with Mark. This is about the texts I saw from Mark. But observe who she defends most fiercely. Who gets most of her time and energy. Who she insists is just like family. You will find your answer not in the group, but in the individual she is protecting with such intensity. A man who seeks clarity doesn't get lost in the crowd. He knows that loyalty is measured in individual actions, not by association. Number 10, you never listen to me. You on the surface, this sounds like a common relationship complaint. But in this context, it is often something far more sinister. It is a setup. This is the preemptive justification. By framing you as emotionally unavailable or a poor listener, she creates the perfect justification for seeking connection somewhere else. And sometimes that somewhere else is with a man who has been in your circle all along. This isn't about improving communication. This is about rewriting history so that she feels entitled to betray your trust. Think carefully. Every couple has arguments. But when this line becomes a constant theme, not a rare exception, it's more than just frustration. It's a narrative. She is painting you as the man who doesn't care, doesn't hear her, doesn't show up for her emotionally. And once that story is firmly established in her mind, she uses it to explain why she's turning to someone else. In her mind, it's not cheating anymore. It's finding what she needs. That's not honesty. that's rationalization. The psychology here is about self-preservation. People need to justify their own bad actions to protect themselves from guilt. By blaming you for not listening, she shifts the responsibility for her betrayal off of her shoulders and onto yours. Her disloyalty no longer feels like her fault. It feels inevitable, a consequence of your actions. So, how do you respond? Do not fall into the guilt trap. Do not scramble to prove her wrong by overcompensating and trying to be the perfect listener overnight. Instead, step back and evaluate the reality. Is this a genuine, long-standing communication issue that you both have acknowledged? Or is this a new, convenient excuse that has suddenly appeared alongside other suspicious behaviors? If it's the latter, you must recognize it for what it is, a foundation being laid for disloyalty. A man of value doesn't let guilt cloud his judgment. Yes, he listens, but he also demands accountability. And he understands with absolute clarity that another person's choice to be disloyal is always their own. It is never, ever his fault. So there you have it, the playbook. You're being paranoid. He's like a brother, we just vibe. These are not random phrases. They are not mistakes. They are verbal smokescreens, meticulously crafted to keep you confused, to keep you second, guessing your own reality, while she gets closer and closer to someone you never thought would cross that line. Cheating with someone you know is more than a simple act of disloyalty. It is an earthquake that shakes the entire foundation of your world. It forces you to question not just her, but your friends, your judgment, yourself. But here is the shift I want you to make right now. Stop treating your intuition like an enemy. That feeling in your gut is not paranoia. It is your oldest, most reliable ally. It is your early warning system, and it is screaming at you to pay attention. A man who trusts himself cannot be manipulated. A man who observes patterns instead of chasing explanations can never be blindsided. Because the truth is simple. Loyalty doesn't need a defense attorney. Respect doesn't need to make excuses. And genuine love doesn't create confusion. If her words and her actions do not align, the gap between them is where the truth lies. You don't have to fight for it. You just have to see it. If this video hit home for you, if you have ever faced this kind of betrayal, I want you to do something. Share a part of your story in the comments. Not for sympathy, but for solidarity. There are other men reading this right now who need to know they are not alone. If you are ready to build a life based on truth, self-respect, and unbreakable strength, then show it. Hit that like button to push this message out. And most importantly, subscribe to Stoic Manhood Guide. This is our mission here. Clarity over confusion. Strength over submission. Share this video with a man you care about. He might be the one who needs to hear this message most. Stay vigilant and stay strong.